Hello fellow bookworms, it's Katie. So there are 41 books that we're going to talk about today. Get a snack, get a drink, I don't know. I think 41 books over 2.5 months is a bit much. And I think that's because when I've lost my books earlier, I think something in my mind just broke and I went a little bit insane. And then I bought books, a lot of them, because, you know, I was just a little bit in shock of losing my books. So I think that's what happened. Let's begin with the books that I've already read. I've already made review videos for most of these books, and I will link them down below. If not, then they are coming. Audiobooks that I've read were A Rare Book of Cunning Device and The Furthest Station by Ben Aaronovitch. These are of the PC Peter Grant series that I'm currently listening to, and they are like in between, you know, real books, so I've listened to them now. Another book I've read, Bill Bryson's Notes from a Small Island. It's a travel book. He travels around Britain 22 years ago. I did have some problems with it. In fact, I had a lot of problems with it. I bought and also read A Skinful of Shadows by Frances Hardinge. This is a new release. It was released in September. It was fine, you know, I liked it, but it wasn't outstanding. It's about a girl in the 17th century England, and there are ghosts, there's a war, and she has to fight her evil family. Then we have Spellbook by Joyce and Jim Levine. No, bad quality writing, do not recommend. The Refrigerator Monologues by Kathleen M. Valenti. Yes. Really enjoyed this one. Short stories about the superhero genre trope that, you know, the death of a female character is used to further the male character development. Then we have A Spellbook of the Lost and Found by Maura Foley Doyle. Magical realism set in a small Irish town. Several young people have lost something and they discover a spellbook of the lost and found and try to regain their lost possessions, and there's a mystery and it's all entangled and magical realism, so yes, I really enjoyed it. Lee Bardugo's Wonder Woman Warbringer. This was an unexpected 5-star read for me. I don't know what happened there, but we have Wonder Woman. She has to save a girl called Alia, who is a Warbringer, which means that she is a descendant of Helen of Troy, and she's about to bring a new age of war and destruction and bloodshed to the world, and, you know, Diana, a very young Diana, has to prevent that from happening and also save her life, Alia's life. And it's damn inspiring, really enjoyed it. Do recommend, definitely. On to what I've bought this season and what I am currently reading. For audiobooks, Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, read by Ruth Redman, which I'm very much enjoying. I'm not sure if audiobook is the format for nonfiction for me, because I feel like I'm missing a lot of details, which I otherwise would, you know, read and kind of submit to my brain more. Yeah, so but I do enjoy Jane Austen at Home. I started reading just yesterday, Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. It's about introverts and why we are great in a world that is just made for extroverts, or seems like it is made for extroverts. Ah, this came a day early in the mail and it made me so happy. It's at the beginning of the world in the middle of the night by Jan Campbell. It just came out. I'm not too far into it because it's nonfiction November, so I'm reading nonfiction. Short stories by Jan Campbell. They are mostly very, you know, creepy. Yeah, that's the word. And also, there's a lot in them to unpack. So I'm taking it slowly, step by step, and, you know, savor the enjoyment of reading this book. But I do enjoy it very much. Alright, let's move on. Audiobooks, which I've bought. I've got The Amulet of Samarkand and The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud. The Amulet of Samarkand is the first book in the Bartimaeus sequence. I've read it translated into German when I was 14-ish. kind of, I don't know, maybe a bit younger, but I enjoyed it very, very much, and I wanted to, you know, read its original for a while. And The Screaming Staircase, it's the first book in the Lockwood & Co. series. My sister read the German translation, and also my cousin, I gave it to him for Christmas, and they both enjoyed it. I bought one graphic novel this season, which is called Monstress by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. It's some kind of girl. She has some weird connection with this monster. Yeah, that's all I know about it, and it's so pretty. I mean, it has some kind of Art Deco styling to it, which is one of the most artistically pleasing periods. I think it's very artistically pleasing to me, at least, so I thought I'd give it a choice. I'd give it a chance. There we go. The words are hard sometimes. Since it's non-fiction November, let's go to non-fiction. Neil deGrasse Tyson's Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. You probably didn't know that about me, but when I was in, you know, primary school, I wanted to be an astrophysicist. But then I had to take actual physics in school and realized, oh shit, I'm dumb, so that's not going to happen. Anyways, yes, I want to learn more about space and the universe, so I hope this book can teach me. The Accidental Universe by Alan Lightman. A book with essays of, you know, the universe and also philosophy. Another book that I bought, which I have discovered on Olive's channel, Olive, from a book Olive. Gossip from the Forest by Sarah Maitland. This book is about the forest and fairy tales. It goes hand in hand with a lot of my books that I don't have here right now, which I wanted to show you in summer, which didn't happen because, you know, fire and yeah. Then I also bought The Land of the Green Man, Journey Through the Supernatural Landscapes of the British Isles by Carolyn Larrington. This is also about, you know, forests and Britain. Then I bought How to Suppress Women's Writing by Joanna Russ. This is about all the ways that the world has hindered women publishing their texts. It is one of my non-fiction November books that I've picked for my TBR. This one I bought just yesterday because I had math class on a Saturday and it was raining and I stepped into a huge puddle of icy water and my shoes were entirely wet and disgusting for the rest of my way home, so I decided to treat myself to a book. The Glass Universe, How the Ladies of the Harvard Observatory Took the Measure of the Stars by Deva Sobel. There you go. It's about the 19th century Harvard College Observatory employed women who started out calculating, doing the math, and then, you know, they contributed into making a lot of discoveries about the universe and stars and stuff like that. We finished discovering Jane Austen, and I decided that I wanted to know more about Jane Austen, hence the audiobook Jane Austen at Home. But I've also bought this book, Jane Austen, The World of Her Novels by Deirdre LaFay. This is more about the world, the contemporary world in which Jane Austen lived and wrote, more so than about her person, which is Jane Austen at Home, much about, like, that's the topic. So then I've got one that I bought used. It is called Star Tales by Jan Ridpath. This is about the constellations and the myths behind the constellations and their names. This one I discovered on Jen Campbell's channel. It is called The Witch, A History of Fear from Ancient Times to the Present by Ronald Hutton. Although this was very expensive. I'm very curious to read this. I love witches. They are one of my most favorite supernatural creatures, and I love reading about, you know, the history of witches in the real world and, you know, the superstitions and witch hunts. No, not so much witch hunts, but, you know, the history of fear sounds like something that I would enjoy very much. And then I have two more books on the constellations. One is called They Dance on the Sky, Native American Star Myths by Jean Gard Monroe and Ray A. Williamson. And the other one is The Constellations, Stars and Stories by Chris Sasaki. And I think this one contains other tales, not just, you know, the Greek mythology that we associate the constellations typically with, but also other cultures. And, you know, this is about the Native American star tales. So my only worry with this one is that it is quite, quite old. I think it's from the 80s, and you know, just cultural awareness has changed, especially lately, and I am a little bit worried that this is, you know, a little bit disrespectful or generalizing, or not, you know, taking Native American culture as the value that it has or should have. So that's my worry with this one, but you know, we'll see. That was it for the nonfiction. Let's move on to the novels. I bought The Bear and the Nightingale. I wanted to have this for a while now, and it was so expensive in the hardback copy, and I saw the paperback edition in a bookshop, and I thought, you're mine, you're coming home with me. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and A Close and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. I feel like I'm, you know, a little bit behind on the hype train of this one. I feel like a year ago everybody and their mother read it, and I didn't, but I think this is something that I will enjoy. It is about a spaceship that travels to a you know, small angry planet. Small planet that is way away from home. As I understand it, these are very not philosophical but literary, and you know, pose some questions about existence and humanity and stuff like that, and I don't know, I just feel in the mood for it. Then I have When the Moon Was Ours by Anne-Marie McLemore. I saw this on Sam from Thoughts on Terms channel, and it sounds like something I would very much enjoy. Magical realism, a small town in America, a girl who grows roses from her wrists, and a boy who makes paper moons. And then I bought a duology, For Darkness Shows the Stars and Across a Star-Swept Sea by Diana Peterfreund. This is a sci-fi young adult retelling of Persuasion by Jane Austen, which it probably is my favorite Austen novel, and I thought, why not? I've got these for together maybe €1.50, so it's not that much. And I've got The Library of Fates by Aditi Khorana. Excuse me if I'm butchering names again. This is about a girl who is married to a person, like it's kind of like an arranged marriage, and there's also a war and shit goes down, and she has to go with an oracle, and they have to find the Library of Fates. Then I've also bought Sorrow's Knot by Erin Bow. This book is about 3 different girls, and they live in a very secluded area of the world, and they are living with the dead, or the dead live in the nearby forest, and they have to keep, you know, the people safe from this threat. And the girl, which is shown here on the cover, is called Otter. She's going to be a binder who kind of has this magical ability to set a ward against the threat in the forest, and it's about her and 2 other girls. The last of my novels that I've bought is called Mindscape by Andrea Hairston. This is some kind of science fiction novel. It appears that the world has been divided into zones, which many years ago have been at war with each other, but there's been a treaty. The architect of the treaty and her prodigy, which is, I presume, the main character, have to renegotiate the treaty with the zones, and I also think there's some intergalactic, extraterrestrial thing going on. So yes, sci-fi. Sometimes you need it in your life. Then I splurged on The Fabled Coasts, Legends and Traditions from Around the Shores of Britain and Ireland by Sophia Kinsale and Jennifer Westwood. This is a accumulation of stories, fairy tales, myths from all around the shores of, you know, the British Isles. Yes, thank you. I wanted it for a very long time, so I bought it finally, and I will definitely read it and, you know, learn more about Britain. Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan. This is a retelling, like a feminist retelling of fairy tales, and what's not to love about that? Last short story collection that I bought is called The New Voices of Fantasy, edited by Peter S. Beagle. There are a lot of names on there that I don't know, and I'm always looking for new fantasy authors that I don't know yet, and I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to do that. There you go. Now you know all the books that I've spent my money on. That was it for today. If you made it this far, congratulations! You earn nothing but the knowledge of what books I own. Tell me, please, if you've read any of these books and would you recommend them? I would love to know. And also it helps me choose from the, you know, ever-growing TBR that I have. Thanks. I hope you're having an awesome day. I hope you're having a wonderful week and that you're reading something magical and wonderful. And I will see you soon. Bye!